Welcome to Popcorn Planet's Diddy Gate coverage. I'm Andy Signore, as always, with here, it's Kim, giving you recaps of all of these trial days. My goodness, number is this 11, right? Is in the books. Day 11 of the Diddy trial, losing count, but we're putting it all together. How are you feeling today, Kim, after today's testimonies?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm very tired. In the words of Mean Girls, you know, the judge kept us here until 4, and we were supposed to only be there until 3. And we had one witness today that had lots to say, spilled a lot of tea. And then we had a lot of drama today over a potential mistrial. There was some conflict between the prosecution and the defense, and the mistrial was denied. But I think it is definitely worth going through and having those discussions and going into details. I will say today, as a blanket trigger warning for everybody, there is a lot of discussion about DV today and violence, so please take care of yourself today. It's impossible to avoid.
Well, we appreciate the update and the warning. It's true. Let's start with the fact that his mother, Janice, was back in the courtroom. So
yes,
any animosity or issues, I guess it's gone. Not only the mother, right? But then King and Christian and Justin were there, as well as Quincy.
And Quincy, yep. So the family's back. The family came back.
Diddy can't stop. The Combs family can't stop, won't stop.
Nope.
We will support our dad no matter what, even if he is disgusting. We can't be silenced because we're bad boys for life. Sorry. Anyway, it was bad, but I tried.
It was beautiful, Andy. I'm inspired.
Oh, that's as good as Diddy. Let's be honest. Diddy's music sucked. Let's keep it a buck. Biggie, Tupac, way better than Diddy ever was. Diddy's greatest hits was a Sting song. Let's not forget. All right, let's get into it. So Christopher Ignacio, LAPD officer, took the stand. He was the one working the Hollywood division in late 2011 when he answered a call about a possible break-in at Kid Cudi's house. Now, clearly this has become a big issue. They're spending a lot of time on this break-in because it seems to involve the kidnapping, the arson, all of the things that they're hoping for. I mean, I'm going to say it at the start. It is odd. I expected multiple things like this, Kim, not just one alleged arsonist break-in. I figured he must have done this, tons of times like the mob does. It's odd. I guess is the only witnesses they could get, but they're putting a lot of their eggs in this basket of the Kid Cudi break-in / arson fire. And was that the theme today? Continuing that?
No. We talked about this for a little bit, but we did move on.
Okay, good.
We're going to get.
I saw the arson guys up next, right?
Yeah, the arson guy's up next, and that's where the mistrial drama happened.
Okay, so let's go through. So the officer testified that the car police observed leaving the scene of the break-in was registered to Bad Boy Entertainment, fittingly as I was singing at the top. Ignacio told the court he noticed a Cadillac Escalade directly in front of the rapper's Hollywood Hills home and memorized the license plate in case it was relevant. The officer added that they did not have a confirmed crime when reporting to the home. Trespassing report was made showing the Escalade was registered to Bad Boy Productions. What was that car doing there, interestingly enough? When he entered Kid Cudi's home, Rico La. When he entered Kid Cudi's home, he spotted a table with Christmas gifts on it. Some were wrapped, some were not, backing up Kid Cudi's testimony. So that was what the officer said. Now it got in a cross-exam, yeah? In the cross-exam, Diddy's lawyers asked the officer whether there was any evidence reports of stolen items. He responded, no. The officer also said there was no reports made to him at the time that there was a threat to unalive anybody. He also confirmed there was no furniture appended, no bullet holes in the walls or notes of threats. Cudi was cooperative but flustered after the alleged break-in, which police investigated as trespassing. So that was it. So then we got into the arson investigator. Yeah. Okay. He took the stand. This guy, Lance Jimenez, testified that the homemade MC Molotov was a bottle of 40-ounce Old English malt liquor. Got it. It wasn't a 45. It was a 40. The wick was a designer type handkerchief, silky type material. The handkerchief fell out of the bottle, and as a result, the bottle didn't break and the gasoline didn't disperse. Had the bottle broken as intended, the damage to the car would have been far worse. Interesting. Okay, so maybe we were wrong. Let's keep going. Surrounded vegetation in Cudi's home could be affected. Lance said a hole was cut in the top of the car. A lighter was found at the scene. He believed this was targeted. Prosecution then brought up the DNA. This is what was brought up yesterday by the Diddy supporter. Prosecutors stated that the DNA found at the scene was partial, and there were print cards. So it was prints, as I said. 2 prints were recovered from the glass front door. Okay, so not the cocktail, from the front door.
The front door.
Interesting. So not the Molotov cocktail, but the front door. So we were right. Jimenez said he collected a card with those prints to compare anything retrieved from the arson incident. Jimenez also testified that the print card that was kept with evidence from the arson case was destroyed by an LAPD officer in August 2012. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Jimenez testified that he typically has to sign off on the destruction of any evidence he submitted as a lead investigator. The defense raised objections to this line of questioning. There was a sidebar, and then the court went into recess. So before we go to the break and what happened, that's a pretty big revelation. There were prints from the glass door, which doesn't necessarily mean they're the arsonist, right, Kim? That could be anybody who's in that car, in theory, no?
I mean, the glass front door, right? So we're talking about the house. That's we're comparing, right? And I'm sorry, I don't think that Kid Cudi having anybody at his house that was female means anything.
Right.
Ever. Right? Like I think most of us don't always clean all of our windows and our doors every single day.
Yeah.
You could have a friend
it wasn't
over.
even the car, right? Good call. It's the home.
No.
So again,
it's ridiculous.
And then the fact that there was another a fingerprint that was destroyed by LAPD. That sounds like RICO law. That sounds like a lot of paying off people, authorities, etc. Yikes, terrifying. So, all right, during the break, the judge said he'll tell the jury to disregard the testimony about the fingerprint cards.
Okay, so this is important.
I guess they couldn't prove it was destroyed by an LAPD officer?
So the judge just said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to tell the jury, don't worry about it. We're going to move on. Okay? Let it go. Let it go.
Disregard the fingerprint testimony.
If we go back to the notes, the defense did not want to let this go. So, of course, Mark Agnifilo,
Costco lawyer, steps up. Go ahead. What does he do?
Basically felt like what the prosecution was insinuating is that someone in the courtroom had a hand in having these cards destroyed. And that this line of questioning was outrageous. So the prosecutors then argued that the destruction of the fingerprints was absolutely relevant to their questioning. And I mean, I have to agree, and quite bluntly, Diddy's team was the one that brought up the DNA and that stuff in the first place. So if they can bring it up, why can't the prosecution question? And this then led to them fighting back and forth for quite a while. So they fought that. The judge returned, and he said, "My intent
sorry,
is
sorry, I want to make sure I understood it, because this is all happening with the jury gone, right? The back and forth of what they're going to tell the jury."
Yes.
And then, so Diddy's team, just to recap that, because I'm trying to make sure, Diddy's team is like, this is ridiculous, talking about the destruction of prints, which I could argue, yeah, how do you know who destroyed it, right? That you're implying it's Diddy. Did you prove that? They didn't seem to really ask a lot of questions from what we can tell from this transcript that they did. And so they're fighting that. Well, while the prosecution is like, well, of course we got to mention that it was destroyed. Who destroyed it? Your implications are valid. And so they were suggesting to this jury someone in the courtroom had something to do with this improper and suspicious destruction of these fingerprints, implying that, yeah, you're trying to make it seem like Diddy had destroyed this, which, to be fair, they got to prove, right? They can't, I could see both sides of this one. So, okay, the judge returns. He said via Interstate Press, "My intent is to strike from the record any testimony about the fingerprint cards and the destruction of them. I will note that the only answers were that the witness knew about the destruction. I sustain the objection to it, to if it was abnormal." So they're allowed to know that it was destroyed. They did not try to pinpoint that it was abnormal or imply who did it. Correct?
Yep. So we're moving on. Fair. And Diddy's team went, "Nope, we want a mistrial."
In front of the jury.
No, the jury's still out of the room.
Oh, okay. I thought, because I'd sound like the jury was back.
He said, "My intent is," that's what he will tell them. He said, "That's what I'm going to tell the jury when they get back."
They broke, then they came back before they let the jury in. That's what he said. Got it. And then Agnifico is saying, "Nope, mistrial." Alexander Shapiro said the jury would be left with the impression regardless. Prosecutors argued that they were in good faith questions regarding the investigation, and Agnifico was the one who wanted to bring up DNA in the first place. Yeah, so Tough luck. The judge denied the motion for a mistrial, saying there was no objections on the line of questioning up until that point, and no testimony was that prejudicial in any way, shape, or form. He added that it was plausible to raise the fingerprint cards during their direct questioning of the witness because the defense was likely going to bring up the fact that evidence in the investigation was destroyed. Judge instructed the jury to disregard the destruction of the cards because it is irrelevant, but he would not call the questions that elicited the testimony improper. Court resumed. Lance confirmed he interviewed Cudi. He contacted Cassie and Capricorn. He stated that Capricorn did not respond, which she said, consistent with her testimony, and was not able to contact Cassie. He finally said the charges were never laid and the case was not closed. It is listed as inactive. Now, cross-exam started. Single black driving glove was found in the backseat of Cudi's car. Lance told the court he testified that the glove belonged to Cudi and that it was not sent over for testing as part of the investigation. That's odd. Costco lawyer asked if the person who dropped the cocktail in the Porsche was potentially wearing a glove, which Lance said was possible, but corrected him. He clarified the lit cloth would be hot for the person holding it, he said, but the bottle would not be. Makes sense. Until it blows up. The jury saw photos of a black glove in the back seat of the Kid Cudi's Porsche. Lance said he didn't recall finding a second glove inside the car. He didn't send the glove for testing, which is odd. Why wouldn't you just done that to be safe? Or collect it as evidence because Cudi said it was his driving glove. So Cudi, it's my drug. Yeah, if Cudi's saying that's mine, it is odd. Why waste time doing DNA testing? Okay, it is yours. What's that going to prove? That it could have been somebody else's DNA? It sounds like they're grasping at straws here. He also testified that after calling Capricorn several times, her brother answered her phone and told the investigator to leave her alone. He made contact with Cassie's father, who was a fireman. Yeah, this glove thing is very weird, as if the person who dropped the Molotov cocktail would have also dropped a glove, Kim. I mean, they're stretching, no?
I think it's clear that the person that put the MC in the vehicle did not actually get into the vehicle, right? They cut the hole in the top. So to me, I don't really see the logic of course, the person who lit the MC stuck their arm in and then touched Kid Cudi's driving gloves. Like I thought it was a little bit silly. There was a lot of chatter online of, oh gosh, we've got a glove entering the chat.
Yep.
And OJ
if it
flashbacks,
don't fit,
right?
You must have quit.
Oh my gosh. And we were like, what's happening? No, please. And of course, this is right after the mistrial thing, right? So we're like, oh gosh, are they going to motion again over the glove? Like, is that where we're going?
And before we get to Donate Nash, the stylist who's next, just to recap the previous, it's going to come back, Kim. This is absolutely, and I imagine this will not be the first time Costco lawyer is going to try to scream this. I imagine that's part of their tactic to grab as many moments of this was unfair, Your Honor. Look what he did. We didn't get a fair shot. And that way he can bring those up later on his appeal and then try to get a retrial, et cetera, et cetera. So absolutely, it's very obvious what they're trying to do there. Any chance they can to cry foul, they will. So anything else before we get to Donate that we got it all?
No, we got that point. We got all that done. And then we moved on to the stylist, Dante Nash. He is a whole mood.
He did not want to be
everyone.
there.
He is a whole mood, and he was entertaining from beginning to end. Lots of details here. We were all laughing.
Who's stylist? Diddy's?
I think we're gonna get there. We'll explain it. I believe he worked. Yeah, he worked
or Cassie's?
With Cassie between 2009 to 2018.
Okay, got it. So it's Cassie's sort of stylist. Okay, got it.
Yeah, but started with he's there because he was subpoenaed. He doesn't want to be there.
Who does? Nobody wants to be subpoenaed. Nobody wants to be in trial. It's true.
Now, Cassie testified that Nash was a friend and that he was present when Combs allegedly attacked her, causing her to cut her eyebrow when she hit the corner of the bed. And she told the court that Nash jumped on Combs' back in her defense during that incident. So he
was
disclosed
hired from a Craigslist ad.
Yep.
His headshot was shown. Interesting. Why you need a headshot to be a stylist, but okay. When asked if there was fair and accurate portrayal of how he looked, he responded no, saying it was a glamour shot and he looked amazing. Got it. So he's feisty too. Okay, got it. Nash said he was very close to Cassie. He worked with her between 2009 and 2018, so a long time, and saw her interact with Combs at least once a week. Combs would call Cassie names, including baby girl, CC, Cass, B, SL, slut, I guess, ho.
Yeah.
Nash remembered Combs calling Ventura a B quite a bit. That was his fave, he said. Nash attended a party in 2014 with Cassie. He said she looked bomb, to which Diddy's team objected. When they arrived,
Literally said her hair looked great, and they were like, objection. And we were like,
so dumb.
Why?
They heard the word bomb, I guess. Wait, no, he didn't bomb anybody. Then when they arrived, Nash and Diddy grabbed him by the jacket and lifted him up, telling him that Cassie's hair needed to be worn up. Cassie later admitted that Cassie's hair looked better down. Combs later admitted Cassie's hair is better down. Nash had to send photos of all of Cassie's outfits for Diddy's approval. Yikes. Nash recalled a time he forced Cassie to come home Diddy forced Cassie to come home after he was angry. She went to a gay club with singer Rita Ora and others, including one of the Cheetah Girls. Cassie got a call from Combs, who Nash heard on speakerphone, tell her she better bring her ass to this house. Nash said. She panicked and went. Nash said this was one of 2 times Combs told Nash and Ventura they needed permission from him before going out. Yikes. That's not normal. No. Nash said Combs allegedly threatened not to release Cassie music when he was upset with her. The singer was under contract with Combs' record label in a 10-album deal, but only released 1 studio album in 2006. Nash assisted Cassie with selecting songs for her mixtape, Rockabye Baby. Mixes aren't sold. Diddy told her that if the downloads went well, he would release it to a streaming platform. It was a top download, but he never added it to platforms. So again, this is important for the RICO law because, again, he's holding her captive, and holding her music captive is a big deal, as Natania's told us numerous times, right? This is not good, Kim.
No, it's not. And I think the big thing for me was, from my understanding, mixtapes do not count towards your contract. I've seen a number of artists that have disputes with their record labels. They will release a mixtape as a way for them to continue doing music, sometimes because they feel like they've been silenced. Their voices have been silenced. I remember JoJo, I believe, did that as well when she was in her legal fight with, I can't remember. I think it was Blackground. I can't remember what her record label was, but that was a nightmare. So it's clear she's still trying even to make music, even though she's basically running into walls constantly with Diddy, and he is just not helping her. And she managed to do a mixtape that went over well. It was downloaded, but still Diddy would not platform her work.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Disgusting. So Nash elaborated on Combs' control over Ventura's career. The stylist was frequently with Ventura in the studio, he said, so much that they once decorated it and slept there regularly while she recorded new songs. When asked by the government how much of that music Combs would allow to be released, Nash estimated that it was about 10% as a generous estimate. Nash also testified that he heard Combs threaten Ventura's parents sometime around 2012 or 2013 while he was sitting next to her in a car. That's when they went on a lunch break, and we got the news that Cassie has given birth. 3rd child with husband Alex Fine, a son. No other details available. They would post an update in the future, but TMZ reported that they're healthy, doing well, despite arriving slightly earlier than the due date. But I'm not surprised given all that's going on, and I'm so glad to hear the baby is healthy and out. That's great. On the topic of Cassie, Sean Combs' attorneys are hoping to subpoena documents related to Cassie's settlement agreement with the Intercontinental Hotel, where May 2016 surveillance showed, what we saw. The government and Cassie's attorneys have pushed back, saying that they had the opportunity to ask her about it while she was on the stand. And they did, to be fair. They did bring it up. That's on them if they didn't finish their line of questioning. How much would I bet that's another mistrial, Your Honor? We couldn't even bring her back. They're finding every excuse they can. All right, well, Deontay came back, picked up from his testimony detailing threats Combs allegedly made, including not releasing Ventura's little mixtape if she kept having a smart-ass mouth, as Combs put it. Nash was in Cassie's apartment helping her prepare for a music festival when Combs allegedly arrived and heard the singer. Nash told the court that Combs was enraged as he grabbed Ventura by the hair and began to kick and hit her. Nash said he and Mia, who also is known as Victim 4, each tried to jump on Combs' back but were thrown off. Combs continued to do that to Cassie until she hit the head of the bed frame. This is the kind of stuff that I'd really love to talk to that guy yesterday who was a Diddy supporter, where this stylist guy has no skin in this game. He's not making a dime. And now Mia as well. Not the clout chasing thing he's declaring with Cassie. Mia's anonymous. No money, no fame. The fact that all these people are coming forward and there's still people out there trying to blame Cassie is just as guilty. Oh my God. Whoo. Yeah. Gross. Absolutely gross. So again, reiterating, this isn't just Cassie. Lots of witnesses, lots of people involved. Diddy said to Nash, "Look what y'all made me do." and that she needed to go to a plastic surgeon. Nash said he tried to call 911 but was immediately told to hang up. He said he couldn't remember who. In another incident, Nash told the court that he was at Cassie's apartment when Cassie came over and grabbed her by her hair, ordering Nash to get out. He testified Cassie eventually got in his car and they left. But with that, Combs called, ordering them to pull over. Combs then came to the window, angry with Cassie over something, and told her that he would release X tapes of her to the internet. According to Nash, yikes, that's super not okay. Diddy said he would first release them to her parents' workplaces to get them fired. Nash told the court Ventura cried as they drove away. Nash said, and the stylist tried to reassure her by telling her that Combs was on the tapes as well. That's where I'm at. Like, yeah, okay. I would be like, fine. Yeah, you go do that so I can sue you to oblivion. It's like, there's no way on earth that would have ever worked on Diddy's side. It was clearly a broken threat because Diddy's on them too.
But this was the moment.
Diddy released them, right?
Yeah, but this was the moment that Cassie then told Nash he wouldn't be on the tapes because she was doing things with other men.
Oh, he was filming, right? Got it.
Yeah. So Nash now knows what's really happening at these FOs.
Which Combs partly doing because he's a creep, but also clearly to grab blackmail material so she'll just follow along and keep doing what he wants. Oh, in other instance, Nash's boss called him to say that he had given Nash's address to Diddy and he was on his way. Nash dropped Cassie off on Sunset Boulevard so she could catch a cab. His boss, Combs, and his security guard arrived at Nash's house. Combs searched the house for Cassie, asking where she was. He looked in the oven. I don't know why he looked in the oven. Combs then took Nash's phone, which showed Ventura was calling him from a nearby hotel. Combs then demanded that Nash drive the hotel while he followed so Nash could get Ventura to come out of the hotel. Combs' security and chief of staff, Tony Fletcher, went with Nash up to her room. Ventura was frightened when they got there. When they told her to go downstairs to Combs waiting outside, Ventura said she was going to go over the balcony as she walked towards it. Nash testified. Nash said when he left the hotel, he noticed a car was following him and thought it was Combs' security. He said he turned off his lights and sped away until he lost them and then went to a different hotel to spend the night. I didn't think my home was safe to go to that night, he said. Nash said when he returned to his home the next morning, his backpack containing his ID, $1,000 cash, and his iPad had been stolen. Nash then confirmed that he saw Cassie with a black eye at the Perfect Match premiere. Nash recalled an occasion around 2013 during a music video shoot when Combs attacked him while he was outside smoking a cigarette. Combs grabbed Nash and threw him on a parked car, saying to Nash, I thought I told y'all about going y'all wildin', Nash said. Nash testified that Combs was referring to the occasion he testified about earlier when Combs told Nash that he couldn't go out because Ventura would want to go with him. Nash didn't report the violence he witnessed to the police because he feared retaliation from Combs, he told the court, which is honestly very believable. Nash testified that he did speak to Combs' chief of staff, Christina Karam. Interesting about the issue. There she is
again.
Ooh, she keeps coming up. Karam promised to speak to Combs. Nash said, but the violence did not stop. Nash told the court that Cassie expressed she didn't want to go to hotels with Combs to participate in FOs, but would go because Combs wanted her to. She would pack toys, be gone for a day or more, returning tired. One example Nash gave to Cassie's not wanting to go to a freak-off was after a birthday celebration that Combs insisted on throwing for her. Diddy once asked him if I should go surprise Cassie on her birthday. Prosecution asked Nash that what he said. Nash responded, girl, I was not about to tell him no, not to surprise her. Nash explained another incident where he had to wake up Cassie after she had been asleep for 24 hours. Nash told the jury he kept in contact with Combs and doesn't have any ill will towards him despite all he witnessed. Probably just because he's scared still of the dude. He called the regular text messages exchanged with his defendant loving. I don't hate him, Nash said. It's just not in me. Okay, well, that's weird. So then began the cross-exam. Nash confirmed he hasn't filed a lawsuit or sent a demand letter to Diddy. Diddy's attorney asked him if he was considering civil litigation. Nash responded, no, I'm focused on getting out of here. This is good because he's not trying to get anything out of this. Diddy's attorney asked Nash if he retained counsel to consider suing Combs. I have counsel to protect me. I don't do federal court. So they're trying to get him there like, oh, so you're going to sue. This is all just for money. And Nash is on top of it. No, it's just in case someone comes after me, I got counsel, of course. Nash said he also remained close to Cassie, but that neither had shared the substance of their testimony against Combs. The stylist also testified that he was a very reluctant government witness saying that he left meetings with prosecutors early and didn't volunteer any information, merely confirming specific events they asked about. It seemed that there may be some tension between Nash and Diddy's attorney, Donaldson. Donaldson referred to Cassie as Mrs. Ventura. Nash corrected him, saying Mrs. Fine, her married name. At one point, Donaldson asked if Diddy made Nash a celebrity stylist. Nash responded, sure, go ahead. Donaldson responded, I am going ahead. So they're having a little bit of it's like Johnny and Rottenham.
Yeah, they got a little sassy.
Little sass back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's interesting too here. Like, he's clearly not volunteering maybe other things he witnessed. He's merely confirming the issues that we know about. And interesting. Nash confirmed that a music label like Bad Boy had an interest in making sure their artist appeared a certain way. Cassie did photo shoots for clothing brands. Banya, a friend of Cassie's, was involved as well. That was not affiliated with Bad Boy. And Nash said Sean was still hands-on and approved both her partnership with the brand and the photos. Donaldson suggested that since Combs allowed Ventura to work with the brand, the music mogul wasn't holding her back. Not with that, Nash responded. There was some discussion about artists that Cassie had collaborated with. Nash then asked for a break. On the break, the judge again became angry with the defense after Donaldson said he would need more time with Nash. Nash's flight home to LA has now had to have been rebooked. The judge also said Nash has not been combative on the stand and that some of Donaldson's questions appeared less than pressing, such as how do you define stylist? Judge quipped, referring to a line of questioning Donaldson pursued. When he returned, he was wearing a jacket and said, it is freezing in here. How do you all do this all day? Donaldson and him then had a weird back and forth about the size of the jacket. What a waste of time.
Seriously, if you want to pull that up, if you want to pull up that link, because I'm like, I was reading it going like, is this shady? I can't tell. I'm
nice
not sure.
Coat. Who do you want to be? You be Donaldson. I'll be Nash.
Okay. Nice coat.
Thank you.
What size?
Not your size.
Right answer. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Yikes. Wasting time is what that is. When he's on the clock too, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, he's missing his flight for this, like I can't.
So then he said Nash spoken with Bond yesterday as well as Cassie and congratulated her on having the baby. Nash said that he didn't think other Bad Boy artists had their looks approved by Diddy, just Cassie. He knew this in part because some of the other artists looked terrible. Nash then disclosed
I thought that was an important
smoked.
point.
Yeah, okay.
If I can just say, because we've heard a lot of people when we talk about, Diddy being so possessive over Cassie's appearance. And there's always that undertone of, yeah, well, she's on the label and he has to make sure that she's in line with the Bad Boy label, right? She's got a 10 record deal with him. Of course, he's going to be invested in the way that she looks. She's an entertainer. It's important. But here we have a stylist that worked with her for almost a decade saying, yeah, I wasn't seeing other Bad Boy artists having the same type of scrutiny. And I could tell you that they weren't because they looked terrible. So I feel like that's kind of a counterpoint to that way of thinking.
Then he also disclosed that he smoked some Mary Jane before one meeting with the prosecutors, and Maureen Comey cut it short. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't blame him. Nope. I don't think that's gonna.
It's legal in New York and it's legal in LA.
And honestly, him admitting it to me makes him more honest. So interesting, weird direction, as if that's gonna make him lie. It usually does the opposite. Nash said he jumped on Combs's back, trying to pull him off Cassie to protect her from him, but also said he did it to protect him from doing something more serious. Nash confirmed that some of Combs' security guards who were outside tried to convince Combs to stop bothering Cassie and Nash and to leave them alone. With that, the jury was dismissed and Nash will be back tomorrow. Prosecution confirmed that Mia is the next witness and that she's going to be on the stand for a while. The defense was told to submit exhibits by 5. Agnifilo objected because he's like, well, that's when I get back to the office. Prosecution says they are still ahead of schedule and may cut witnesses. So there we go. Another day. It does feel like we got some information, but definitely a lot of waste of time on Diddy's side.
Yeah. And definitely that's part of why I wanted to include that the judge was mad. The judge was mad at the break of he basically extended today to 4:00 because they thought they'd be able to finish with Nash. Clearly, they did not. So Donaldson's saying, nope, I need more time with him. And it's like, okay, well, now we got to change the flight. And why are we doing this? We're doing this so that you can ask him what a stylist is? Like, what is going on? And then all the mistrial drama and everything else. I'm definitely getting the vibe. The judge is annoyed. It kind of, I'm imagining Judge Penny after watching Alejandro Romero's testimony of just being like, okay, because it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating, and the judge has to be so careful that he's making all the right decisions so they can't go for a mistrial. They can't claim anything. But it's just at points, it's just bizarre and ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm reading some of this other little back and forth. It does seem like who was Mia Puff's assistant? Mia jumped on Mr. Combs. Okay, interesting. So Mia's a big one that we'll hear tomorrow. Again, her own sort of instances. We focus so much on Cassie. Again, it would be nice to see other people coming forward to reaffirm it wasn't just her. We definitely need that, and so it's nice to see that that's finally coming. We'll see how Mia performs tomorrow. But yeah, look, these are important days. All this is even little pieces. This is a long trial. Mia is allegedly victim number 4. So we'll learn more about who Mia is and what that story is. It sounds like tomorrow after a little bit of, what's his name? Deontay?
Yeah, Nash is going to be back up there.
And
I mean, I hope that it's over soon for his sake, but at the same time, if he's only up there for 20 minutes, I feel like the judge is going to lose it. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
That's what's going to happen, right? The judge is sort of having to let it happen, and then he'll be there for 15 minutes in the morning with nothing substantially asked. And if I'm the judge and understand that, I'd be livid. It's annoying the jury can't experience some of that. That you're wasting our time, because the jury deserves to know that their time is being wasted as well. Don't you agree?
It is wasting their time. It's absolutely wasting their time. For Mia, it does look like, though, she's going to be on the stand till at least Friday, from what I've been reading. And then there is a witness, I believe, Enrique. I can't remember his last name right now. I think he's a radio DJ, an iHeart radio DJ, and he will be following after her. And that's what we know so far of who's coming up next for witnesses at this time.
Do we know when they're supposed to be done? Like, when's their cutoff time?
Let me pull up here.
Anyway, you can set that up next time.
No. If you go to the end of our notes and the last note of the prosecution, what they said, the very last line, I have a link here. That goes into what Inner City wrote that we know of what the schedule is supposed to be.
We still have a schedule. We may cut some witnesses. I think we'll rest in less than 6 weeks. We'd like to do the 2D week of June. We'd like to by the second week of June. We might bleed over into the third week. I'll look at the request to change. Okay, so there it is. Interesting. There, perfect.
I do think it's interesting they're talking about cutting some witnesses, because that makes me feel like they're very confident.
So do they get more time than the defense?
I'm not sure.
Because I guess the defense gets to ask any witnesses they bring questions. Mm-hmm. So interesting how that all goes. We'll see. I'll try to get next time we have a lawyer on to sort of explain more of this process, just so we get more clear. But there it is. Big updates regarding the case. We are not done. There's more we're going to go through, but this is where we trim our replays so you guys can get them. The replays are also available on all audio platforms. If you want to listen to the audio-only version, let us know if you're checking those out. Reach out, give a good rating. We're on Spotify, I believe Apple Music, Amazon Music, and some others. So check it out there. Look up Popcorn Planet. You should find us there, and we're posting these usually by the evening or by the next morning. You'll get those replays there, as well as here on YouTube as a member. You can get the full show. We're going to talk for a little bit more, so stick around if you're watching live. If you're watching live or later, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for alerts when you do. Smash that thumbs up as well, and leave a comment on what you think is going on. And make sure you subscribe to It's Kim. My God, guys, she's crushing it. So make sure you go over there. We got to get her to 35,000 subscribers next. So if all of you go over there and subscribe if you haven't already, you'll get her across that. So head on over to It's Kim, hit that subscribe, and check out her live shows as well. And stay tuned for more from both of us here on Popcorn Planet and It's Kim.